From the CIA to Equifax, 2017 saw its fair share of cyber attacks, and now one cybersecurity firm is sharing its concerns for 2018. John Hultquist is the Director of Intelligence Analysis for the cybersecurity firm FireEye. So, John, your firm's recent cybersecurity report cited Russia, Iran, and North Korea as major threats. What sort of operations are they conducting, and what are their targets?
Well, Russia, Iran, and North Korea continue to demonstrate a willingness to carry out very aggressive operations in cyberspace. They have all already targeted the United States in some fashion, mostly our critical infrastructure, banking, energy. Most of that activity, some of that activity has been destructive or disruptive. There's been a significant amount that's actually really just them burrowing in and waiting for their opportunity to strike. We've also seen quite a bit of activity where they're in their own region. Russia, for instance, is very active in Ukraine, where they've turned out the lights. North Korea has actually stopped the functioning ATMs nearby, and Iran has actually stopped operations at major critical infrastructure. So all of them are increasingly aggressive and demonstrating real capabilities.
And on Iran, the report talks about that increase in cyber attacks from Iran in 2017. Is there a greater concern regarding Iran, in particular going into 2018?
Well, as geopolitics shift, as our relationship with the West's relationship with other countries, with the rest of the world changes, as uncertainty grows, there's always going to be an increase in posturing by these actors. Basically, these actors are intelligence organizations, and those organizations are normally tasked with two things. Reducing uncertainty for their policymakers, so they want to find out what we're thinking, and that means more aggressive espionage, and preparing for any sort of contingency, and that means burrowing into places where if they necessary, they could strike, and that's why we see these incidents where we find them in our own energy system, or even find them in neighboring energy systems of our allies.
Your firm says Chinese hacker groups are expected to shift their focus in 2018 to countries like India and Hong Kong. Why is that?
Well, for a long time, they were very focused on Western and foreign intellectual property. There have been a series of agreements between them and those countries, and a lot of that activity has reduced. We expect that they'll use this really are more fairly sophisticated capability to learn what's going on in their own backyard, where they have the strongest interests.
The report also mentions the entertainment industry as being especially vulnerable. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, there are a lot of reasons why the entertainment industry is targeted. They produce this content that when it's first produced, that has tremendous value. It's intellectual property that could be taken and pirated and sold. They are often involved in ideological, or they find themselves in the midst of ideological battles. And we've seen a lot of activity, even from nation states, that is simply ideologically driven. And they're also just a very prominent sector. When these actors target, for instance, the energy sector, we've actually seen them simultaneously target media, all part of the same operation, because they recognize that media and things like entertainment are sectors where they'll get their activities will not go unnoticed.
Finally, what do you think needs to be a priority in 2018?
Well, I think that we need to take a strong look at the actors that are out there. Not everybody shares the same problem. The government has what we call a threat model, a very different threat model from the average person. But we need to probably review what actors or threats are most likely for us and take the appropriate actions. It's not a one-size-fits-all problem.
All right, John Hultquist, thank you so much, John.
Thanks for having me.